What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dubkast. I am your host, Trent, otherwise known as Dirty Assault, and I'm joined today with my co-host, Jeremy.
aka Toxic Jedi boy.
That's right. And some of you guys out there will remember a familiar face, and that is our boy, Luke. You heard him. You've heard us talk about him about a million times because, well, let's just say he has been our pinnacle, the uh the exact rocket player that we've achieved and hoped that we could be one day. But not only that, he is a guy that has been on multiple different games that we basically watch and learn. And I'm excited to dive into some of those games. So without further ado, the one, the only Fireddinosaur. Luke, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, a little bit of an elaborate intro. Basically, I'm excited to have you here again. We've done one of these episodes before, so you kind of already know. So we can dive right into it. But first, guys, I got an announcement I want to just go ahead and make right from the jump. We are officially going to kick start the RLFRC. So I want you guys to go check out our social media and make sure you're keeping up to date on that. The main one that you want to hop on is going to be Facebook. That is where we're going to primarily be live streaming that. There will be availability to check out my direct stream link. That will be Dirty Assault 19. But there will be other people that are streamers that you'll be able to go and, watch their streams as well. Toxic Jedi is going to be participating. There's another guy that also streams occasionally, that's Purple Cobra. If we can convince Luke to get into this thing, you might be able to go check out Luke's stream. There's quite a few people that enjoy streaming that will be live as well, but I will be spectating this game so that you guys can check every angle, and we will let you know when we have a for sure timestamp on that. But we're hoping that if we can, we'll try to get that going this weekend. So make sure you're keeping up with Facebook for the official date and time. I will create an event, and yeah, we'll just go from there. But with that being said, let's dive into some games. So, Luke, big congratulations to you. You were talking last episode that we had you on about maybe potentially pursuing streaming again. Some time has passed and you are live, my friend. You are officially out there streaming, but not only are you streaming, Luke, you said, guess what, people of Dubcast? I'm not just going to stream, but I'm just going to go ahead and achieve affiliate too. So I have to say congratulations on achieving affiliate. And so your stream is popping, and I'm excited to talk about some of those games you've been playing, man. So
Sure thing. Yeah, it's been fun.
has it been kind of different getting back into it? Like, have you had any maybe familiar faces or people that used to kind of watch you, or have you been kind of building like this new fan base because you're kind of starting to check out these new games that you didn't used to typically play?
Sure. Yeah. So, man, I'm getting a lot of new people, and just as I bounce around to different games, it attracts different people every time. So, like, I do still have like my stables, like the people I know personally, like you, or people that I've worked with, or just personal friends that hop in there, and that's super fun. But what's really cool is getting a new game and seeing these new people pop in and start talking to me. And so, like, just to give a quick list of some games, so the one that's probably taken the most time was The Witness, which is a puzzle game, and that got the most attention, and that's really is what pushed me into affiliate, and for various reasons I can go into. And then the one right before that that got some attention was Satisfactory, which is like a factory production game, and you're just organizing, like getting ore and setting up like conveyor belts with different machines, handling a power system, like power grid, all that stuff. And I had a couple of guys pop in with that. And one of the guys was like super knowledgeable and was helping me out whenever I was running into issues. So that was super nice. And I had that with the witness as well. And then since then, I've kind of been playing Splitgate, and that's a really fun one for various reasons. But I've been playing with a lot of people on that. And that one hasn't gotten as much attention, but that game has a lot of attention just on streaming platforms in general. So most people are gravitating towards the bigger streamers for that. So I understand that aspect. But the other games are small enough that you get viewers a little bit more often.
Yeah, we've kind of discussed a lot of these bigger games. They're so saturated, like Call of Duty. You know, I play pretty frequently with Tyler Hero T, somebody that was a previous guest as well. And one thing we noticed is just transitioning over to like a game like Rogue Company that still has probably a decent group of people streaming that. But you go from Call of Duty that's so saturated, like everybody's playing it, to a game like that, and you notice that foot traffic a lot more. So that is one thing that watching your stream I definitely noticed, and it's kind of cool to see that happen. You know, it's one thing to talk about it, but when you see people like you kind of tap into some of those games that people play, but people that really play it are always looking for somebody that actually wants to stream it so that they can kind of experience that first time solving puzzles or whatnot. And so I'm sure that, like like you said, you saw a lot of foot traffic, especially with that puzzle solving game, The Witness. I believe I hopped in quite a few times and just saw so, like, you told me puzzle game, and whenever I was sitting there thinking about it, I'm like, a puzzle game, is he doing like Sudoku or something? And you know what I mean? Like I was sitting here trying to picture like what you meant by that. And like I tuned into your chat, and it's just so many different like variations of puzzles. And I'm sitting here trying to, watch you solve this. And I want you to definitely go more into depth because you can explain it way better. But just from a viewer's perspective that had no idea what this game was, I tune in and I see you on a boat and I see this map and I'm like, oh, cool. So Luke is about to travel and he's checking his map to see where he needs to go. And then like I see you kind of like making this, like marking this like course or something, and I'm like, wait, what is going on here? And I'm like, I don't even know how you would solve this if this is a puzzle. And so like I'm completely getting confused. And then I'm seeing like people pop up in chat. Oh, hey, what about this? What about this? And so it was really interesting to see a game like that. So it's completely out of my realm. It's something I don't play that often, but it was really cool to see. So what was that game like? Kind of explain that game from your perspective getting into it as well.
Sure. Yeah. So, man, okay. So to start, the reason I started playing this game was so I had time on my hands, and it's been on like my backlog of games that I've been wanting to play for years. So there's a guy that has been really wanting to watch me play this game, and it wasn't even like a planned thing by any means. But I had watched him play parts of it before when he used to stream, and he's always wanted me to play it. And I finally got it installed, and I was just like, like I've got a few days here, because like I didn't have to worry about work for a little bit, and I was just like, all right, I've got some time. I wasn't really feeling my usual games, like my usual like shooter games or Rocket League for that instance, or anything else. I was just kind of like, I want something different, and I was like, why not a puzzle game? And very few puzzle games grab me, but I still love playing them. Some of them are just like either too annoying, not well thought out, or sometimes they're just too simple to where you just breeze right through them and you're just like, what even was that, kind of a thing. So it kind of takes a special person to make a good puzzle game. And The Witness, I know, is like regarded as one of the best, if not the best. And after playing it, I definitely agree. Like it's probably right up there if not top, like top 2 for sure for me. And so yeah, I was just like, man, I'm just going to start playing this game and see what it's all about. I've seen some of it, and I'll talk to a couple guys that I know have played it and see if they want to watch me. And sure enough, the one guy, his name is Whiff City, and met him playing Rocket League, and he came over and started watching me play it. And he was there to kind of help me through the beginning of it before my stream started picking up. And him and one other guy that I worked with previously, he also popped in there and started helping me. And so they were kind of the ones that were giving me hints. And like, just to lay the ground here, like this game is super difficult. So you solve puzzles by drawing lines on a grid, and there's so many different rule sets to the puzzles that you have to learn. But man, this game is so massive, it's hard to talk about. Let's see. So, and I don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah, fair
because
enough.
there are some secrets, and I know I mentioned that to you, last week, I think.
Yeah.
That there was a secret that ruined a little bit of it, and I don't want to do that to anybody else. So I'll do my best. Anyway, but yeah, we got him in there, and I was just like, I've got time, so I just was like, all right, I'll stream this for like. I did not think I'd be streaming it as long as I did. The first night, I was like, man, I'll just stream for like. Go for it. You're good.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure you mentioned that you had like a 10-hour, or not, maybe not 10-hour, but like crazy, like high hour stream, and I was like, because I think I hit you up to see if you wanted to like game that night, and you're like, dude, I got a big stream ahead of me, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, yeah, man, go for it. So I didn't mean to cut you off. You're probably about to dive into that anyway. So
Yeah, you're good. No worries. So yeah, I started out that first night. I was just like, I'll just play for like 3 or 4 hours. And like my usual schedule is usually like I'll stream for like 2, maybe 3 hours, depending how it goes. But like if nobody's popping in there, I usually stop at 2 hours just because I don't want to like waste my time, kind of a thing. And I kind of get a good feel after a couple hours whether people are going to be popping in or not, and then I'll decide whether I want to push another hour or 2 out. But so that night, well, I had those 2 guys in there watching me, and so I was like, well, I'll at least go like 3 to 4 hours. And then I got to 4 hours, and then I had like 7 or 8 viewers in there at one point, and I was just like, I can't just stop, and like there's people in here, and they were starting to talk to me, and I was just like, and what was happening was a lot of these people are like in different countries and stuff, so their time zone is like they're waking up, it's entertainment for them while they work or something. And so I'm just like, all right, like I guess I'll just stay up for a bit. And yeah, so every night I ended up going at least 8 hours, and I think most of the time I ended up going like 9 or 10. And it took me about four streaming nights and 5 days total to kind of like quote unquote beat the game, which again, I don't want to ruin anything. So but yes, there is a way to beat the game, and that's about how long it took. But this game is fascinating because it attracts people that have already beat it, and like I've kind of got the bug now too where I want to watch other people play it and try to solve stuff, because it's like now that you know all these things, you're just like, how long is it going to take them to get this?
See somebody walking by it, and you're like, it's right there. What are you doing?
Exactly. Or like just the line, like you'll see them, they'll like draw a line, and they'll even say it. And like I said it multiple times where I was like, oh, I know I'm close. Like I know I'm close, and they're just like, yeah, you are. And I'm just like, I wish that helped me more than
Yeah, that could mean anything.
Right. And so it's a little bit of a frustration there, but streaming it, I didn't want it to be boring. And so like normally with a puzzle game, if I run into something, I might like walk away or like, get off for the night and sleep on it and come back. And for anybody that's not streaming, that's how I advise playing that game 100%. But in the streaming space, I didn't want it to go too terribly long. So I was like, I don't mind taking hints if you can hit me well without giving it away, which is tricky, but I knew I had people in there that had played it before, and they were pretty good at giving hints. There were only a couple of times that I would say they actually gave something away, and it wasn't that big of a deal because there are over 600 puzzles in that game, and having a couple ruined isn't a big thing.
A lot of space.
You touched on
Yes.
one thing that I thought was really interesting. It's another conversation here recently that I had, and so it's really kind of funny that you're bringing it up now. But that I've heard multiple times that a lot of streamers, especially people that are kind of grinding, trying to get those views too, that it is a big thing for you to go like all day streaming and it be pretty, 1, 2 viewers kind of popping in and out. But the hardest thing is when you're about to get offline and then all of a sudden you have a spike. And then but it's not just a spike, it's an engaging spike. So people are like, "Hey man, what are you on?" And they're sitting here wanting to talk to you. And so I've heard that a lot of these streamers that are trying to make it, it's one of the sacrifices you have to make is saying, "Okay, let me get a drink. I got to get a couple more hours in," because those are fans that could probably potentially end up following you and sticking with you. Another big issue I thought that was really important that we won't call it an issue, but if you will, I guess just situation that can come up when you're a streamer. Last night I stayed up until or the night before last, I stayed up until 1, 2 a.m. And just like you said, you get into that you get into that little real late night, and then all these other countries are starting to wake up and they're ready to go. I was playing Rocket League in my instance, and the dude wanted to join up and play with me. I so badly wanted to play and keep on going, but I'm like, dude, it's too like I gotta get off, man. And so that is something that I thought was really important. I wanted to highlight from what you said too, is it is so exciting to see those views jump up, but you got to know in the back of your head, you're just like, oh my gosh, let me check my timer. I've been on for 8 hours. So I mean, to be able to push through like you did, those extra hour, even 2, and push that 10-hour mark, that's got to be crazy. But that's probably also really helped you get some of those followers and that residual viewership. So
Yeah, it really pushed me, into affiliate. And so, and like my reasoning for doing like the 2 to 3 hour thing and like then making a decision is like some games just again aren't going to attract people. Like something like Splitgate, like I said before, just I don't expect that to attract new people. And I've seen it in the past with a guy that I knew that since he stopped streaming, but there was one game called Astroneer, which another game that I'll probably stream at some point. But it's pretty small game. It doesn't get a whole lot of streaming time, but it has a very good like community around it. And he like got highlighted on like the wiki for the game. So anytime people were looking stuff up, they'd see his stream and might pop it open. And like I'm still unclear on like whether that counted as a view if somebody saw that, but either way, it attracted people. So he blew up and got like 30 to 40 people in there at one point and
wow.
got affiliate single-handedly off of that game. And so like I've seen it before. It's kind of just once you see a game that's gaining traction, you can kind of stick with it. And fortunately with The Witness, it was going to take me that long to beat the game anyway, so it just kind of worked out. And I was close enough to affiliate already. I just needed like a handful more followers because like it was kind of strange because like what Twitch was telling me wasn't matching with the affiliate path on their achievement thing. So that was a little frustrating because like I thought I had hit most of that. But really the last thing that sealed the deal on was the average concurrent viewers, where you have to have 3 average viewers all the time. And once you get affiliate, to my knowledge, they don't really take that away if you go below 3. It's just to get affiliate, you need to achieve that somewhere. And so my big goal is I just need to get this somewhere, figure out what game gains traction and then stick with it for a little bit just because of how close I was. And once I'm good, I can go back to kind of like what I normally want to play and kind of business as usual.
And you
And
were
I'm still
telling
going to play multiple games to do this, but yeah.
you were saying too that they recently updated their viewership details where bot viewership doesn't count too now, right?
Yeah. So yeah, after I told you that, there is a website that I found. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but it does list all of the bot accounts. And yeah, I think it was about, I want to say it was about a year ago, because I think it was kind of in the middle of COVID with everybody starting to stream, that people were trying to use bot accounts to get their affiliate really fast and even partnership in some cases. So I think Twitch had to come down on that pretty hard. And so anything they see as a bot account that's like in multiple chats at once, they're just not counting it as a viewer. And so it's a little bit hard to tell. There are some that are just obviously bots that you see all the time, if you look at your chat list, but there are others that kind of seem like a real person. And so it's frustrating to find out that like, oh, that's a bot account. But there is a website that has a list of all of them now, so you can
I've,
tell a little bit easier.
yeah, I've noticed like I would get pretty hype because I would check well, I downloaded a different kind of engine that like a chatbot, the chatbot engine, and through like Streamlabs. I don't know if engine is the right word, but it actually lists everybody that's in the chat, but I'll notice it's only one. And one of the biggest things is there's like top 3 I would always see pop in. I'm like, who the hell is this? And then I slowly realized, oh, this person is currently watching every single one of my friends that also streams. Suspicious.
Yeah.
It's a little frustrating, but I guess at the same time it hurts but helps. So I guess I could see it hurting you maybe in the money aspect, where maybe views is kind of not there for you. But at the same time, at least the things that are counting are real interested viewers, I guess you could say. Because one of the biggest things that I've also seen that a lot of people do is this follow for follow thing. And a lot of people say that's actually really detrimental and doesn't really do anything for you. Yes, it's nice to be able to like look at somebody's account and be like, man, that guy's rocking 150, 200 followers already. But a lot of those are people that are just giving you a follow because you're in that particular group, but those aren't people actually interested in watching your stream or going and viewing you. So yes, your number counts are up. That's nice, but you're not getting the views. And at the end of the day, that's probably more worth it. I would rather have 60 followers and have, a concurrent 5 that are constantly watching than have 200 and have one guy that pops in every once in a while. So I could see the argument for that, but that might be something to maybe check out. I've always considered Jeremy to be a bot account, but that's just how he plays. Sorry, man, you were too quiet down there, so I had to throw a jab.
Fair enough.
I could tell that threw him off because he's like, yeah, what? I'm not a bot.
Zoned out.
No, so so you played the sorry, what is
The
it
Witness?
again? The Witness. I was about to say The Watch. I'm like, I don't know why. So you played The Witness, and another one you mentioned was Splitgate, and I do want to get into that one because that is one I have seen people talk about, and it's one that I've even thought about mentioning to Jeremy, downloading and checking out. Have you been happy with what that's been like? Like, to me, this is what I see because I haven't actually played. It kind of almost looks like, I don't know if ripoff is the right word because it's definitely its own thing, but I see some elements of maybe like Halo is what it reminds me of, but it looks really really fun. It's a free game, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's free.
Okay. How has that game been? I mean, even maybe not. You said that it's not bringing the same kind of foot traffic in, but just from a perspective of somebody that's been able to kind of test that game out, has it been a lot of fun? Arena style shooter.
Yeah. So Splitgate is, to your point, just to get that out of the way, is the developers are very clear that yes, this is Halo with portals. Like they advertise it as that, and like their whole goal is basically like, hey, this is an arena shooter that we feel like this genre has kind of been forgotten for a while, and they want to bring it back. And they're using kind of the Halo style with the twist of having portals um, to do that. And so, the thing about this game, and I'll say, uh, as as far as my shooter experience goes, this is very uh, much more fast paced than most things. Um, like most of the stuff you do is very reactionary. There is some strategy to it. The portals get very interesting the further you get in, uh, but it's very much a twitchy shooter. Like you're gonna be snapping to stuff, and you need to be able to react fast. Otherwise, you're gonna have a rough time. Uh, in that sense, it's very much like I would consider it to be a PC game. I mean, it does have crossplay, I think, um, but I don't know how controllers would compare to mouse and keyboard on this one. This is one game where I say I think the difference there is going to be pretty strong. Um, but in that sense, man, so like the portals, you can like pop them out. There's certain surfaces that you can put them on, so you can't just put them on everywhere. Um, so there's certain walls that have like a grid pattern to them, and they're blue, and that's where you can put the portals. So as you're running around, you're going to see these things, and on command, you can send out like your portal A and portal B, and then you have two other buttons to get rid of either of those portals at your will. So it's kind of like one of my favorite things to do is if I'm in trouble, I'll pop a portal across the map, put one next to me, hop through it, and then close the portal right behind me. That way the guy can't chase me.
Mm. Now, is that something that everybody has? Is there a cooldown on that? It seems like it might be something that I could see getting overwhelming at times. So have they implemented like a cooldown effect to balance that, or
So there's no cooldown on the portals. You can just kind of go nuts.
just boom 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 portal? It's
Yes.
just portals everywhere.
Yes, everybody's popping portals. I would say, man, so just starting the game, the portals are very overwhelming. I'll say that, like, unless you're really used to arena shooters and like you're used to that fast pace already, like that alone is going to be an adjustment. And then adding the portals to it adds a whole nother dimension that you're just like trying to wrap your head around. And I'll be honest, for my first like 2 or 3 days with the game, I didn't mess with portals at all. I was just like treated it like a normal shooter, and I was like, how can I outplay people with portals? And like, which is kind of fun in its own way, because there's people that are really good with portals and popping them out, getting away, or popping out behind you somewhere, and you're just like, what the heck? And so learning how to play against portals without using your own is kind of a weird thing to do. But it's just like my mind couldn't wrap my head around that. I was just like, man, like this is nuts. And then after a few days, I started getting into it, and I was just like, oh well, if I put a portal there, I should be able to like, take a peek at their spawn and stuff. And like I was just like, all right. And so you start getting into like some of the cheap ways to play, for sure. And people do like to just put up a portal at like a big like Overwatch spot, and then they'll stick a portal on the inside of like a building where they're safe, and they'll just take a peek through the portal and like snipe people from there. And so there are some like really cheap shots you can do, but you can have some fun with that too, because you can shoot through portals back at them. So
Okay. Well,
so
that's
like if you know what
good.
portal it's coming from, like as a team, so like I mean we've had full teams of 4 playing together. So there's times where we're like, all right, they got portals looking at our spawn. As soon as we spawn, we need to shoot through that portal together. And so we'd all just pop
Just a
out.
barrage.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just getting just demolished. Where's this coming from?
Exactly. And so, and you also have grenades, which the grenades do no player damage. They are only used to get rid of enemy portals.
Interesting.
So that's another thing you can do. So like sometimes if I see an enemy running for their portal trying to get away, I'll throw my grenade at their portal, close it, and then they just like run right into the wall, and then I run up to them and smack them in the back basically. and then they're just like almost look confused because they're just like, what the heck happened? I was going through my portal. It's just like, well, I destroyed it. So
I've seen some TikToks of that little Overwatch tactic that you. So it's kind of interesting to hear how, because I was wondering about that. It was one thing that I'm like, man, do I really want to tap into this game or what? Because man, that could get annoying. But it's almost certain you post something on TikTok and somebody's gonna find a way to around it. It's like you've given up your strategy, but you all you want to show it off, but at the same time expose. But that's interesting. That's cool. I like that they took something that they know that works and just added in just something as simple as a portal element to it that completely makes it kind of its own entity. So I'll probably eventually download it just to check it out and maybe have to run a squad, because one of those things about those games that are always fun is just trying to figure out what can make you and your squad the most effective. It's one of those things that I felt like I've had to learn more and more about, like Rogue. And I'm sure that somebody like you that's probably like studied this game has your own tactics and stuff like that. Cause it's like, is there a ranked mode for this yet? Or
yes, yeah, I want to talk about that because it's pretty cool.
okay, yeah, dive into that, because that's where I was going to get at next. Is that you play casual on some of these games, and it's just all out kind of chaos and fun. But then you play ranked, and somebody's like, you don't want to do that. You want to throw it on the left wall, and then you're gonna flashbang grenade bounce off. Like, okay, I didn't know that there was so many. So yeah, dive into some of this ranked play, because I'm interested, and along with ranked play, what are the different game modes for this as well? I'm curious on that.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, I'll list the game modes real quick. So you've got your traditional modes like domination, team deathmatch, king of the hill, um, just yeah, your normal shooter modes. Then they have like the more fun modes that are like team SWAT, which I believe is directly from Halo. You might have to
we
give
told
me
you.
input on that. Yeah. I was never huge in the Halo multiplayer, so I don't know exactly what's ripped from Halo, but I've been told that that's straight from Halo. It's basically the battle rifle and the semi-automatic rifle, and it's instant headshot kills. So you're just trying to shoot people's heads, and it's a fun time if you're like just hopping around the corner and just. I'll say normally there's not a whole lot of chance in this game on like a 1v2 scenario or a 1v3, and like that's the one mode that you stand a chance because you kind of pop around the corner. If you're good at shooting people's heads, you're good. Like you can take out 2 or 3 people really fast. And so that's why I like that mode. And I would say that's probably my favorite mode to play. But then they also have like shoddy snipes, so just shotguns and snipers. They have some limited time modes, like one they call Team Fiesta, which is basically you just spawn in and you get 2 random weapons and you don't know what they are. And you just got to play with them. And so like some people get like rocket launchers and the sniper, and then other times you spawn and you're just got the pistol and like the bat that you go around the melee people, and you're just like all right, I guess this is what I'm working with. And so that's a fun mode as long as you don't get too annoyed at getting bad spawns, because it's gonna happen. But then you're also gonna have games where you get like all the good spawns where it's just like, oh yeah, I got the rocket launcher almost every time, So that one can go either way depending on who you are. It's got oddball, from Halo. Same system, from what I understand. I haven't played that myself, but people tell me it's exactly like the Halo oddball. So if people like that, it's there. And then so their ranked mode is called Takedown. And I think this is something that's really fascinating because it's only really doable with the portal system. Like, I can't think of another game that this would work well. So you got to look at the portals as like your movement system in the game. So like every arena shooter has a movement system, and like that's kind of how you excel. Like the gun damage is always going to be the same, like whether you get like the sniper, for instance. Like I know if I hit somebody with a sniper in the body, anywhere on the body, it's 65 damage. And if I hit them in the head, they die instantly. It's 100 damage. So like every weapon has fixed damages, which is standard for arena shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next level is the portals, which is the movement system. And the movement system is really how you excel. You want to be moving around fast enough or unpredictable enough that people can't shoot at you well and are going to miss fire, or their accuracy is going to be bad. So that's where it comes in. And the portals just add another element of like kind of a trickery system to it. That's really cool. But really, so Takedown is set up. It's 3v3. And every time you die, your spawn time increases. So the first time you die, you come back almost instantly. Then you die again, and you'll come back in like 3 seconds. If you die again, you'll come back in 5 seconds, and so on and so forth. It just keeps going up until I haven't seen much past like 30 seconds. I think that might be as high as it goes. It might cap at that. I'm not 100% sure, but I've never seen it go above like 30 seconds. Basically, the goal is to have the whole enemy team dead at one time, and that's how you win that round.
It's like a rebirth. You know what I mean?
So man, so there's times where like you're just sitting there and people are just like you gotta stay alive, you gotta stay alive. So you're just like popping portals everywhere, just trying to confuse the team. That way they can't shoot you and get a grasp on what you're doing. And then there's other times where you're just like hiding in a corner and just like, man, I hope they don't come. And
it's like a room of mirrors is what I feel like. You're gonna be like,
yeah, and they just pop up anywhere. Like they can just pop the portal right next to you, and you're just like, oh crap. And it's a crazy thing
in my head.
But that's where I say, like a normal shooter, it doesn't happen. Like that can't happen because like you have like your search and destroy modes and like something like Call of Duty, where it's like, yeah, you just got one life and you die. But this is so different, and it only works because of the movement system with the portals. Like if you could just go easily hide on one end of the map, like it wouldn't be that exciting. But with the portals, you're kind of just like on edge all the time. And you also have the flip end of it where like, so the announcer is amazing. That's another point like that I want to make. The announcer is absolutely amazing. They did a great job. And it kind of pumps you up. And so like when there's the last enemy, he's just like, one enemy remaining, and you're just like, oh shit.
And so you're like, that one guy, you're like, oh shit.
And then like when it's the enemy team, you're in hunt mode. You're just like, all right, where is he? And you're just like popping portals, looking through it, just like, nope, not there. Pop another portal, look through that hallway. You're just like, nope, he's not there. And you're trying to get him before anybody on that team comes back. And it's a really cool element. I don't know that any other shooter could pull it off without the portal system. And I think that's really neat. My only complaint about the ranked mode is the maps. They don't use their regular like casual maps. They use these like it's just competitive like white wall maps. The portal walls are very clear to see, and I hope that they add some variation eventually, or at least give the option. But right now, the ranked maps, in my personal opinion, don't look great, and they're not super fun to play, but the mode is amazing. So the foundation is there. I think they just need to explore that a little bit more. So
is this something where every single person can basically use any gun that they want, or is there like, you know, you sometimes you get these like hero based guys, or you know, I'm going to be a sniper class, or I'm going to be an assault class. Is there any character customization, or is it essentially everybody's the same, just build your own like loadout or something like that?
Okay, so yeah, I guess a couple of things there. So customization is your team sees you with your customization. The enemy team basically all looks the same. There are some like different character models that'll show up differently, but it's always like they're just straight like red enemy team. There are some like outfits and stuff that you can buy, and like they have a battle pass system, which right now the battle pass is free in the beta, so you can get in there, just play, and they give it to everybody for this. But they will eventually have a battle pass system like anything else at this point. So there is customization, but your team is really the only ones that see it. And then, and that again, that's just to keep the competitive nature of it intact, because the enemy team has to all look similar, and with how fast paced it is, it makes it easy. And then as far as the weapons, there's not really a class system, so it's kind of in the Halo style. Weapons are scattered throughout the map, and so based on where the gun is that you want, you can kind of make a mad dash for it, and hope that somebody's there with you to help you get it, kind of a thing. So like in the middle of the map, like there might be like the melee bat, which is just like a one hit melee kill, and like a lot of people like to get that because you can kind of go nuts with it. And more towards like the spawns is where you kind of see like the battle rifles for the burst rifle, and and like the railgun is in there too. So like that's a charge up weapon that's basically instant kill. A lot of people like that just because you can get collateral kills with it. The sniper's usually there somewhere, but yeah, in the ranked mode, it's kind of just all spread out. But that goes for the regular game modes too, unless you're playing something like Team SWAT or Shoddy Snipes, like then they take those guns away. But almost everything is just spread through the map or throughout the map. By default, you always spawn with the semi-auto rifle and the assault rifle, just the full auto.
That I like that. It kind of makes it like a wild goose chase. Now knowing my friends, especially Jeremy, I could definitely see, sprinting to beat each other to those guns. But it sounds like a lot of fun. I the whole time you were explaining the whole character thing, that I thought that totally makes sense. See the other team all is the same. That way it keeps it a little bit of the same competitive nature, instead of somebody rocking the bright orange jumpsuit that is easily spotted or something like that. Everybody's just the same. So I like that. That's pretty cool, especially you're not really worrying about the right attachments or anything like that. It's just go grab the gun. If that's the gun you happen to get, then you make it work until you can maybe get to that next best thing. So I think that system is pretty cool. Honestly, you've pretty much convinced me. I definitely want to check it out. I mainly want to check it out just because, well, it's free. And that is the beauty of some of these games that, well, really, you can't even say some. It just seems like all of these games are doing now, where, that base model is free. And, if you want to support these, developers, you can always just buy that battle pass. And it's something that even I think that you honestly, I have to thank for that with Rocket League. It's something that I really kind of had to think about. And it's when somebody gives you a game like that is really well done. You can tell that there's been work put into it. What is it really going to hurt you to spend $5-10 on a battle pass and just be able to say, hey, I appreciate it? Because other than that, you're spending $40-50 on some of these games back in the past, or some of them are base model 20. But I think that the system at least allows for those small little incremental achievements or unlocks that kind of keep you going and then get you excited. And for a lot of them, there is that, and which kind of brings up my next question. A lot of them have that kind of loyalty program with built in, where if you make it to the very end of our battle pass, you will have enough tokens or coins to be able to purchase the next year's battle pass either way. So that's always been kind of nice. You find that with Call of Duty, you'll find that with Rocket League. I haven't really tested it with Rogue Company quite yet, but I do know that when you beat their challenges, you'll get coins that you could in turn use for something like that. So it's nice that, like, yeah, you're spending the $10, $5 in some of these games, but at least they're giving you the opportunity to make your money back and then re-put it back into the game. If you don't necessarily want to spend that money again, grind, stay committed, dedicated, show your loyalty to the game, and they'll reward you. So I don't know how much you've checked out of the battle pass, but is there something like in-game currency or something like that they use, or is it more?
Yeah, so they have their, I think they call it split coin. And that's their and that's their premium currency. So right now their battle pass is just like a beta battle pass because that's the phase of development they're in right now. And they've said they're going to be in beta just kind of indefinitely right now, because they didn't expect the game to blow up as much as it did, because at one point it went from, I think, like 4,000 or 5,000 players all the way up to like 70 or 80,000, and they had to deal with that. And so basically they kind of said, they're like, hey, we're going to take our time because we want to make sure we get this right. But right now the battle pass is free. There's 15 levels to it. If you get through it, it just has a bunch of like beta, I don't know, like perks, I guess, where you just like get certain titles to say like, hey, I played in the beta, and like, hey, I got this far in it, blah blah blah. And like, it's kind of just a way of, if you want to wear those things once the game releases, it's a way of showing off. They're like, hey, yeah, I played the beta. That's kind of what they're doing. I don't know what their plan is for the battle pass at release. I don't know that they've talked about it. But I wouldn't be surprised if you at least get, like some split coin from it for sure. That seems like that's well within reason.
Yeah, you are any of these people ever out of beta form? Because I feel like once they've announced that they're in beta, I feel like they don't ever leave beta. I had like just thinking, like, the one that comes to mind is Escape from Tarkov. I bought that game whenever we were playing video games together and I was still working at Best Buy, and that's at least been 4 years. And so I'm like, hold on, I logged back in today and it's like, you can still purchase beta. And I'm like, what? You've been in beta for like 6-7 years. Like, it's just like, it just seems kind of silly that they announce that they're in beta form, but they're never like finished.
Yeah.
But all developers are different, but it just kind of just something that I always think about, is that I feel like a lot of them do that.
Yeah, it's kind of case by case. Tarkov is a special case where I know the developer has kind of talked about, like, it's going to be in beta for a very long time because his plan is very far fetched, in my opinion. Not that it's unattainable, but it's going to take him a very long time. And he's pretty open about that. And just the amount of detail in the game is insane. So Tarkov is a special case, but a lot of the developers, there are benefits to being in beta, or early access, whatever they want to call it, because they get priority to push updates out to multiple platforms. And so normally, like with something like Rocket League that's released, they have to get approval from like Microsoft and Sony for all their updates. And they can push stuff out on PC almost instantly if they want. But consoles always have to go through an approval process because Microsoft and Sony have to like make sure the update's safe, not going to like brick the console, that kind of a thing. And generally it's fine. And we've seen cases where their checks didn't work anyway. But a lot of the developers prefer to stay in the beta form as they're continuously adding stuff, because it's so much easier to put stuff out and test rather than go through and like wait a week or two for approval, then put it out and then be like, well, then they're like a week or two out from uploading that update to Microsoft to put out to everybody, and then they're like, oh well, now we have to go back and like redo this that we've been working on for 2 weeks because it finally got approved, got put out, and then it's got this issue with it. So there's benefits for different cases. If it's a PC only game like Tarkov, then yeah, like I said, that's a special case. That developer is, I could talk about that for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
his plans are insane. So
I did forget you. I feel like you've mentioned that to me before, and there's some cases that 100% I feel like support that. One of the biggest games. So you, like me and Jeremy, are big into your survival games, sandbox survival. And I remember me and Jeremy for the longest time wanted to switch to PC, but you know, it was it's been a long process for us to do that. We were always on console, and we were so excited when 7 Days to Die finally dropped on PlayStation, and we played that, and it was in beta form, and it was, the graphics were just not good. And at the same time, we kind of expected it to be a little grainy in some ways, but we played that, but there would be crashes all the time. And we got into that mindset, well, it's in beta, it's going to be updated, there's going to be more stuff. And I kept up with the patch notes on a game like that pretty often. And then eventually it just stopped. And then like a year went by, and I'm like, dude, we should play that game again. So we re-download it, play it, the exact same game. Finally, enough time passed by, and the developer on that was like, yeah, we're done with console. They just left it. You know, it basically, they had enough going on the and PC was just like pumping out content on that game. They were constantly getting cool news. They had like NPCs that were already like in implemented in the game, so many other things, and console was just basically laid to waste. It was just so heartbreaking. And that's probably a big instance where they came out as beta to be able to do stuff like that, but then just kind of fell off. And I don't know if it's maybe because they eventually just tried releasing on console after so much time had passed, they felt like they could immediately push. But as soon as it did officially drop on console, it seemed like it was so difficult. The time period on getting updates on that game was quite bad. And Arc is another one that I think about that was kind of like that. And it just seemed like all the time you're like, man, okay, when is the next update? Because this is still not that great. And so I could definitely see the benefit to being able to push updates out faster, because all these games I've mentioned here recently are primarily PC games. And when they make that push to console, it's definitely a big struggle for them to be able to try to somewhat find that like middle ground where they are somewhat the same. I mean, we can say one of the most successful sandbox games of all time, being Minecraft, took a long time for it to get where it is on console now. We just now got servers. My PCs had servers how long? And so I it was like, you would have thought it was Christmas all over again for Jeremy whenever they announced servers on console. He's like, let's do it, everybody on right now. So but you know, just starting to see the slow implementation of new animals and new biomes, and like PC just constantly pumping out, oh yeah, well guess what we have now, new worlds. No, they don't really have new worlds, I'm just hypothetically, but so I'm rambling. But to your point, I could definitely see the benefit of that, because there's a lot of those games that you can see developers have really struggled once they officially, you know, released onto consoles, and just struggling to keep up with updates in order to satisfy consoles. So, but that's my rant on betas.
yeah,
But
no,
let's
for sure. And I'll keep it short, but yeah, Arc went through a big controversy too, because they started putting out DLC before they were done with their base game, and then like they finally got like asked about it, and they're like, "Oh no, yeah, we're done with the base game," and they're like, "But it's still in beta or early access," and they're just like, "Yeah, that's fine. We're just gonna keep it like that." And it's just like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, yeah, I never played any of the DLC on that, but yeah, it's just that I feel like it's just a new wave. It's kind of where we're at with gaming now. You can either love it or hate it, but I think there's benefits. I mean, there's definitely downsides to it, but I think there's definitely benefits to it where never okay, this could be a positive or negative. Never have I ever had the plethora of games in my library that I do now, and half of them I didn't have to pay for. So, I mean, there's something to be said about that. And I'm not even saying that just with like multiplayer games. There's a lot of single player games that have been done like that too, where developers have released that. Now, some of that is some benefits to PlayStation having their monthly, and Xbox also, I think, does something like that. Obviously, they have that EA early access where you get up to 10 hours. Actually, PlayStation now has that as well. And you get up to 10 hours of video game time, and that's a lot of time. So at least see if it's worth it for you to buy. But that never, you could, back in high school, man. I mean, come on, Christmas. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 came out, and I had it like a month before Jeremy, and he was so pissed because he was like, I gotta wait for Christmas, dude. Quit playing without me. Just give me 2 more weeks. It's like, dude, I can't wait 2 more weeks. So, there are definitely benefits to it. But yeah, man. So before we've spent a lot of time on Splitgate, and I think you've convinced me. So is that on Steam, right? Is that just in Steam, or is that on a separate app?
It's on Steam.
Steam.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. What were some other games you had mentioned? I know that you were getting involved with some simulation type stuff. That was cool. I definitely think that if people are interested in that, you've played a couple. We don't have to go into too much detail because I mean, it is kind of what it is. But one in particular I watched you play was that Flight Simulator, and that was really cool because you actually have like the joystick and the pedals that you were using, and you were telling me that with that game that the actual landscaping below you is set to be actual, like it's not perfect, but it's supposed to be close to the real thing. I thought that was really interesting. And what were some other ones? I mean, I'll let you kind of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so Flight Sim was definitely one I spent more time with. That one was, and to clarify, it is very close. They use like satellite data. They use like just public like road data and geography data. Like they pull information from everywhere, so it's fairly accurate, and they're like always working on improving it. Pilots actually use that now to like get a feel for like what they should be looking for as far as like landmarks for when they actually fly planes. So
That's
and
crazy.
that's never really been a thing in past flight simulators, and this one's good enough to do that to where they could be like, oh, it's going to be a white building, and they'll know like that's where the runway is. Like I need to go by that building, and it's really cool. If I have a recommendation for anybody, I would say if you're interested, look up videos of pilots that play the simulator and also fly, and they'll actually do the same flight in the simulator and record themselves doing it in real life,
That's
and
cool.
put the videos side by side, and it is almost spot on, and it's pretty nuts to watch. But like you said, yeah, I have the whole setup. I have the joystick, the throttle, for the driving game. So I use a steering wheel and pedals for like Truck Sim, American Truck Simulator. I've hopped into like Dirt Rally 2.0. I've done a little bit of F1 2021, a lot of those racing games and stuff. That's really fun. The truck simulator is definitely a lot more like relaxing than the other
Yeah.
games. The other games are a lot more I'm banging around, and being a simulation racing games, they're pretty brutal as far as if you damage your car, you're kind of done. So you have to drive a little bit more careful on those.
Now, are you the DK? Are you Drift King?
Man, I'm trying. I've kind of like I've hit a few people and
Oh God, pedestrian.
no,
Hey. Oh, sorry.
hey man, sometimes you hit a bad bump, you just go flying.
I've gotten sucked into truck simulator so many times where I'll be scrolling through Facebook and I'll see somebody playing it, and like 5-10 minutes will go by. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, what am I doing? And it'll literally just be somebody like with an actual shifter, and he'll just be like, all right, okay, just like hauling loads. And I'm like, all right, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'll say, like, if you don't have the equipment, maybe not as good, but that just the physical aspect of it is super fun. And if anybody's interested, I highly recommend just even getting some basic equipment for it, because you can get away with pretty cheap stuff and still it'll be way better than anything that a controller will ever give you in those games. It's super cool. I love those games, and it's kind of like my relaxing games to where it's just like, hey, I just need to like decompress a little bit and it's a good game to just hop in for an hour or two and fly around and go see some stuff, or drive on a road for a bit and don't have to use my own gas money and all that. So and then the other simulator, which is in my opinion a little bit of a stretch, but I've been playing it a bit lately, is Power Wash Simulator.
What?
And
Luke, you're playing Power Wash Simulator, my man. Luke's just sitting in his base. All right, sir, your driveway's clear.
And the next step I want to take with that is to see if there's a VR mod somewhere.
Oh my god.
Jeremy recently got a VR mod or a VR headset, so you guys are gonna have to collab on that. You guys are gonna have to play some Power Wash Simulator, and then you guys can get in. Here's a little plug. You guys got to hop into the new lawn mowing simulator, which just dropped recently.
Nope, don't recommend. Sorry.
So Power Wash Simulator.
That one caused a lot of heat from the I guess the lawn mowing community.
Did it really?
Yeah. If you want to see people just go to the negative reviews on Steam, and you'll see some very animated explanations of why that game is not accurate. So
oh my god, people are getting tilted on a lawnmower simulator.
Yeah.
I don't care. That game, I literally wanted to buy it because it had me dying laughing. I seen a dude, he's like, all right, we're at the yard, let's go search the yard for any rocks. And then he finds a pile of shit just sitting in the yard, and he's like, oh, we better pick that up. And this guy he's like, oh, guess we're just gonna pick that up with our bare hand. Don't worry, sir. Your yard's clear. Just scooped it and went. It's like, all right. But yeah, it's hilarious how many of these simulators there are now.
Yeah, I feel like Flight Sim definitely opened that crowd up a lot, because that used to be a pretty small crowd, I think. And I think Flight Simulator kind of changed that tune. And now people are just really into simulator games. And I joined in, and I'm with them. So.
Well, in a way, you're probably learning skills, because I bet you even Truck Simulator probably even teaches you some stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, the ones I haven't dove into yet, like I don't even have them yet. I haven't bought them. But there's like Car Mechanic Simulator, there's PC Builder Simulator, like all those. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, there's some fun ones.
Jeremy's into that Car Mechanic simulator. He loves that, don't you?
I did it in real life, so I don't know if I'd call it simulator.
No, I've actually seen that game, and I don't know crap about cars, so I could probably use something like that. That way, I'm not telling my mechanic it could be the headlight fluid or the muffler bearings that are out. So
I always love those people that would come into the shop and just mimic the noise it's making. But
yeah.
they like throw in like the yeah.
What else?
It's making like a and it's like, oh dude, yeah, dude, that's like some fucking headlight shit. Like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Is your hood latch loose? It could be your hood latch.
Yeah. You're like, are you driving with a live animal behind you?
It's probably endless. You'd probably be so surprised if you just went to Steam and just searched simulators and seen the list. I mean, Goat Simulator. That's
Yep. Uh-huh.
Uh,
The game I mentioned at the beginning, Satisfactory. The people that made that are the people that made Goat Simulator.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
There's that
they
Goose
went
game too.
completely a different way.
I don't know if you'd consider that a simulator, but what is that? No Name Goose or Unnamed Goose or something like that?
I think it's just called the Goose Game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just some of these, and that got popular. That got so big. I don't think they expected that. It's like, are people really watching this dude just taunt people as a goose? Like, it's like you literally were a goose that was a bully. Like, it's crazy what grabs people's attention. You'll never know. Just some of those oddball games, people just love them. But there's definitely a market for them. Plus, I mean, I'm sure you have a little bit of that in you where it's like when you're intrigued like that, you're like, yeah, screw it. I'm just gonna try this out because this just seems too crazy. I'm sure that the team's got plenty of those. So, what are some other games you were saying we can wrap up here soon? But
sure, yeah. So, well, tell me where you want to go with it. Let's see. The other games are Satisfactory. I mentioned before. That one's pretty fun. And that's just I streamed it a while back, but it's basically setting up like miners for ore. You're just a guy running around. You can do co-op in it, and you set up like conveyor belts into like a smelter. Then you do a conveyor belt from the smelter to the constructor that makes an item, and you can like feed everything into like assemblers that make another item, and it has a whole milestone system and like things you need to make a certain amount of to like move on and like research stuff. And then there's an exploration factor to it. It is a fixed world. It's not like auto-generated or anything. So you can like explore the whole map and like learn the whole map, which people have, and there's a whole map of it online. So you can kind of learn where to go. Everything's in the same spot for everybody. But it's super fun to just progress through. And again, kind of another just relaxing game to go around and just be like, oh yeah, I'm just setting up a factory. And then like you'll hit a point where it's like, all right, I got to redo the whole factory because I got to get this part made now, and like or like divert stuff another way. That one's really fun. More of a thinking game in that sense, production game. Then I still play this game just about every day. Is Genshin Impact, and that's a big one. And there's a lot of stuff happening there. Pretty excited. I kind of fell off of it over this last update, but the next update has me super excited. A lot of new characters coming, and probably going to spend way too much money, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then let's see.
Well,
I guess my last points would just be like the latest update with Rocket League. I know you've been playing that. Man, so looking from the outside and being a person that's obviously played the game since the beginning, unfortunately, what I'm seeing is they're kind of making a lot of the same mistakes they made before, but I'm curious to see how people react to them. But there's one that, and a lot of memes have been going around about it, but they changed like the player population to saying, instead of giving you a number of players, it says amazing, great, or good. And as like a status, and it's like your matchmaking ability is either going to be amazing, great, or good, instead of just giving like, hey, there's like 20,000 players in this playlist, or there's over 150,000 players in this playlist. Like, it doesn't give you that number anymore, and they're just rating it based on like how long they think it'll take you to get into a match. And so I don't like that. I always liked seeing the numbers. If they added the amazing, great, good, and kind of like as an estimation of like when you were going to get into a match, that'd be cool. But to just get rid of the number, I feel like they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to at least know how many people we're talking about. I don't want to be playing this like, guessing game. Okay, how great is great and how good is good. Like,
yeah, and the fact that there's no like bad is just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
good is as low as it goes.
Positive reviews.
Yeah. And then the other thing was the casual penalties for leaving the match. And like, they've never done that before. But that's one thing that I definitely take an issue with, because that's, man, you're basically making casual ranked at that point. So like, if you leave a casual match early now, you'll get penalized for it, to where you can't matchmake again for another like 5 minutes, and then the next time you do it, it'll be 10 minutes, and it basically doubles every time.
I've only been playing ranked, so I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and it goes up to like 2 or 3 hours now. So now, even in a casual match, to quit out early, you have to like vote to forfeit.
And
I
don't like that.
Yeah, and I definitely don't like that. They need to do something with that. Some people have like brought up the idea that if they want to keep it, that maybe just require 2 people to vote to forfeit and not the third, to keep it a little bit more casual, just in case you get a toxic player that doesn't want to forfeit, because that happens in ranked a lot, and you kind of have to stick it out. But in casual, I don't like that at all. So hopefully they figure something out with that. But yeah, as a Rocket League fan that still wants to see the game go on, I'm not too happy with a lot of the changes they've made. And then they've done the whole rank disparity thing, which, so in the past they kept people from matchmaking for ranked together before. They've done that before, and that was more of like a blanket like thing where like, hey, if you're not within 3 ranks of this other person, you can't play together in ranked. And that finally went away because enough people complained, and the solution to that was that they were like, okay, you can still matchmake with people below you or above you, as long as you're okay with matchmaking to the highest rank. So that's why, like, when you play with me, it's always going to matchmake off me. Like, that was a decision that was made like early on. And I think that was a good way to handle it, because you still let people play together if they want. They just have to understand that, like, hey, you're going to be playing against the highest ranked player in their matchmaking. So
that happened to me and Jeremy. Solution. I was wondering what that was. Now my question's answered, because me and him were literally playing some games. We got demoted, and it demoted me just enough to where when we backed out and tried re-queuing, it was like, oh, sorry, rank disparity. And I'm like, what? So we had to like end up queuing for duos instead. So
so the way they're doing it now is it's better than before, but I just think the system as a whole is just frustrating for people. And we saw it. Like, you can look at it on paper and be like, this is a good idea to maintain like good matches, and like good whatever. Yeah, just have good competitive matches. I understand that, but in reality, I think it just kind of pisses people off, to be honest.
That makes a lot of sense now. That's exactly why our low-ranked friend got booted into platinum, is because we were platinum the entire time he was unranked. So when he finally finished the unranked section, it was just like, oh, well, you've been playing these lobbies this entire time. Here's your rank.
Yeah, that was really frustrating, because, and it wasn't a knock against him because he was new. We were just trying to show him how competitive ranked could be, and we personally just enjoy ranked a little bit more. I think as much as I get frustrated, I like the sweatiness of it. It just makes me feel like I'm working towards something, and we were playing, and he would always be at the bottom, and he would barely even get 100 in order to get XP, or he would get maybe just a little bit above that, but he wasn't really doing the greatest, which, I mean, rightfully so. We were in plat lobbies, but we kept losing, and Jeremy dropped from like plat 3 all the way down to like, or plat 3 or 2 down to plat 1. I dropped from gold 3 all the way down to gold 1, and then he got his rank and he was plat 1, and I'm like, wait, what? Because like we were losing, but I was still averaging like 200-300 points per game, and I was losing rank, and here he is that was barely making enough to get XP, and it ranked him in plat. So it was super confusing. Now he trolls us all the time because he's like, and I have to take the brunt of that because I dropped all the way down to gold. Jeremy's still in plat, so it's funny to him, but I'm like,
It still hurts. It still hurts.
yeah. So it's just like really weird how they've done the system.
Yeah, and so the way it's supposed to work now, and I'll lead this off with saying apparently it's just very bugged out right now. So sometimes people are saying if you just like close the game and open it back up, then you can start playing together again. If like it seems like there are some bugs happening with this, which obviously is never good and makes it even harder and more frustrating for people. And so the way that they have it set up now is if you're playing in a party of 2 and we want to go play a threes playlist, whether that be a threes tournament or just threes competitive, you can't your party can't be more than 3 ranks apart, because basically they want to prevent you putting that third person you join at a disadvantage when they're expecting to play with 2 people that are of their rank,
That makes sense.
And so like
I can't be
so,
mad
like,
about that.
I get that. It's just a little weird to see the system come back.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. But like I said, I know there are a lot of bugs with it. So people are getting out there and talking about how, like, hey, this should work. Like, we're within 3 ranks and it's still not letting us play together. And some people are getting locked out of doubles, which they have said like it shouldn't even exist for doubles. So I think there's a lot of issues for them to figure out. But I'll say the rank disparity thing, just as a system, brings back a lot of bad memories. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping they can get that worked out, figure something out with the casual penalties. I hope they figure out something a little bit more forgiving with that, and then just give us the player numbers back. I don't care if you tell us amazing, great, and good. Just give us the player numbers, please.
Yeah, I do like that they implemented 2v2 tournaments. I thought that was pretty cool. And the new car is cool. It seems like another version of Octane or Twinzer. So I've been enjoying it, but I went back to last season's car just because, today I went back to last season's car, but that was only for a couple. I've been bouncing between the two because I always forget the name of the last season. It's like, I think it's I always want to call it the Tyranno, but I know that's not right. I think it's something, but it is a lot more flat, and it doesn't have like that angled hitbox. And so I kind of whiff on stuff a lot because I'm expecting to slap, like, have this flat plane like flipping. Instead, it's a little bit different, but I like it. I enjoy it. But yeah, those particular things have been huge red flags for me. And it's kind of crazy because I didn't even like I didn't even think about it like that. And like, as you're saying it, it's like just coming to me. I'm like, oh my God, yes, that pissed me off too. And it's kind of sad that they made those changes. So I do hope that maybe enough of the community, I mean, Rocket League's such a big community. Hopefully enough of the community can kind of sway them otherwise to kind of go back. But I mean, the new arena is cool. Just touching on some other new stuff they added. The new arena is cool. We got this desert theme now, but it's not like anything that really makes me go crazy over. But I guess I kind of thought that we were going into this, which we're still kind of early into the season still, but we're going into this Mad Max type theme. That's what where my headspace was going with all this, but I don't know. We'll see. I bet you they could maybe come out with the Mad Max car pack or something.
They already did.
Oh, they did. Okay. Oh, see,
That was like a long time ago.
Oh, not this season though.
No, I mean, I'd say it still gives off that kind of vibe with like the spiked wheels.
Yeah.
But they did like the crazy like post-apocalyptic cars a long time ago.
Okay.
This is actually the second desert map we get.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I like that. Like I said, I like that they're bringing in more of the tournament type stuff. I wish it was a little bit more frequent, but I'd rather play. Because isn't it like, or can you always access tournaments? I thought it was like more of like every once in a while they'll have tournament sessions available.
I believe you can always access it, but like the timing is always just whether or not you can be available for it, kind of a thing.
Yeah. We'll see what they do, but I'm sure enough of the community is talking about it. So we'll see how they act on that. But well, Jeremy, did you have any games you've been playing that you wanted to bring up too? I feel like, I do feel like that we've had quite a bit going on. Also feel like I say that all the time, but I think that these last couple months have just been really kind of new game heavy or new season heavy for a lot of popular games. So it's been kind of refreshing to be able to bounce around from everything.
Yeah, I've been just bouncing around between our normal cycle, but I've been actually trying to throw in more RPGs where I can just play by myself. Like I've gotten back into Cyberpunk. I actually I can't stream that one anymore. I got a notification for nudity in my stream. So, but it kills me because I turned off the nudity because I caught it in my stream and I was like, no, we can't do that. Turned it off. First mission, I just have like this naked chick's tit just like flopping in my face. I'm carrying her. And I'm like, I can't do anything about this.
God dang it, Johnny! What are you watching?
Yeah, I'm like showing some 6-year-old kid this cool Cyberpunk game. He's like, bro, there's naked chicks everywhere, dude. I promise.
It was like God of War.
Dude, yeah, like so I can't play Cyberpunk anymore, so I downloaded the Fallen Order to play again for my stream, which kind of goes hand in hand with Toxic Jedi.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. That brings me back to some nostalgic days playing Republic for sure. I love Star Wars games. They usually always hit, despite the Battlefront type stuff, which I feel like it's probably been hit or miss, if you will. Maybe I'm just not in with the community enough, but it seems like it didn't really hit as good as we thought it would. But that's probably because of the other games, other shooters that are available. But I always played it whenever it was free. But
are you talking about like the new Battlefront 2?
Yeah, just that whenever those I liked them as far as like a lot of these Star Wars games, but I felt like Battlefront kind of fell short.
Dude, I highly recommend you check it out now. At launch, like they screwed up that game so bad, but they actually had such a bad like community lash at them. They've literally fixed the entire game in a month span. Like it's actually a freaking insane game to play right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to check that out. But that's cool that you're getting back into some of those older games. Speaking of older games, me and you were playing Battlefield 4. Luke, I don't know if you've been. Are you excited for the new Battlefield?
Oh yeah. Yep. Pre-ordered it. Had to get the little T-Rex chain for my guns.
Oh dang, that's dope! I didn't even know you could do that. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's a pre-order bonus for it. So as soon as I saw that, I'm just like, well, yep, got to do it.
Yeah,
T-Rex
done.
money.
Done. in shopping cart purchased.
Yeah, but yeah, I went back with a couple buddies of mine and we played some Battlefield 4 about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and yeah, it was fun.
Man, I hopped into locker room. I threw our squad into locker room, and I had forgot about how much all out chaos that map is. And then like we hopped in like Shanghai, and our team was getting already pushed back to our spawn, and I could not stay alive longer than like 5 seconds. And then like I threw us into another. I was just, dude, it was bad luck after bad luck. I threw us into another game where they banned all like grenades or RPG type stuff, and so I'm spawning in and I'm not understanding the message that it keeps giving me. And so my dude's like, all right, let's go. All right, dude, let's go. And I just keep insta dying every time. And in my head, I'm thinking I'm getting sniped or somebody's just clipping me. And then finally I see the message, you're using something that's banned or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. Like the fact that I get banning explosives because they're annoying, but the fact that you would ban explosives in Battlefield, a map that like people are flying around in helicopters, they got tanks. It's like, give me some explosives, damn it. Don't take my explosives away from me.
Yeah, that's the one thing I hope is toned down in the new one. They did say they're gonna have player run servers, but I just hope that there's enough people playing the official servers that stuff doesn't happen, because that got really annoying.
Yeah.
Portal looks great. I think Portal's going to open up a whole new world for Battlefield, in my opinion. I just think that you're being able to allow people to, not like be able to kind of play with a lot of that stuff. I feel like we're going to get some really cool game modes. A lot like Halo did.
I miss those good old Forge days.
Yeah.
So much like genuine content, man.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they'll set it up enough to where we can set up a racetrack.
Something.
I
Racing
doubt.
tanks.
Yeah, I doubt they'll be able to make that happen. But because I don't know if the creator tool is going to be that in depth. I know that there is some ways that I forget what it's called, but there's like the creator tool you can use in game, and then for people that are more skilled in actually doing that kind of stuff, I think there's a more in-depth program you can use to create your own game. I was reading on, but I can't remember what that program was called, but I'm just excited for shock paddles versus knives. So just the
Yeah.
So, but all right, guys. Well, if Luke, if you don't have anything else, I mean, if nobody has anything else, I can kind of wrap things up. But I'm 100% sold. I'm gonna check out Splitgate with you. We'll have to squad up and play some of that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't really have anything else. I guess I don't know. Are you showing video on these still or not?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll tease you with my witness notepad.
Oh snap!
Dang, this dude's taking notes.
Oh yeah.
This was all my puzzle solving from the witness.
Oh dang! Luke was in depth on it.
And so yeah, if you drop by my stream, my affiliate emote is out, and it's my little T-Rex mascot with the notepad now in honor of the witness. So it got me there.
That's awesome.
Because most of my stream was people staring at me looking at my notepad. So
that's pretty cool, man.
That is pretty cool. I like how you paid homage to what helped you too. Yeah, that's something I enjoyed watching you stream. So I highly advise people look into that, because from hearing you talk about it, not just today, but conversations we had, they definitely did that game some justice by
it's a game, even if you beat it, it's super fun to watch other people play it. And not many games have that. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, dude, I appreciate you stopping by. As always, man, we're gonna have you back plenty of times, because as you guys can tell, an hour and a half, I think that's what we're pushing on, is still not enough time to catch up with just some of the amazing games you're going to be able to catch on Luke's stream. He is just somebody that's always pumping out great content and checking out a lot of stuff that you may not typically play, or maybe you do play that stuff and you guys are interested in, it'll be right up your alley. But for me, it's really interesting to see some of these different genres I don't dabble in enough and kind of watch. So he's always got a lot of content and knowledge that I definitely like to talk to him about. So we'll definitely have to bring you back on again. And, maybe by that time you'll be a partner. So, but for anybody out there as well, this on the 20th, we had the dropping of Madden 22 for you sports fans out there. So you guys can go and buy that. I've heard good and bad things. So, go check it out, see for yourself. I haven't purchased it and played it yet. I've been pretty busy. But from the most part, as always, there's already some defenses that are easily getting exploited. I've heard about cover 2 is just really easy to just toss one over the top on. So I'm hoping to get into that. As an avid Chiefs fan, I don't know if you guys can see the flag back there. I got to show some love to my boy Mahomes whenever he gets on a cover. So, but go check that out if you guys are into those games. We are recording, since I didn't say it at the beginning, it is August 23rd. Y'all will be hearing this on August 27th. So, like I said, make sure you guys go and check out the Facebook page, get that information for the tournament. For those of you that may not have heard in the previous episodes, that this tournament is nothing that's going to be money based. It's just a group of friends getting together and having a fun, competitive Rocket League match on Rumble, where we're just going to build 2 teams, live stream, and just have fun with it. And we invite you guys to join us on that. So you'll definitely hear some trash talk, and I can promise you that. So it'll be a lot of fun. But that's it for our time on the Dubkast today. Luke, otherwise known as Fireddinosaur4. That is how you guys can go and watch him on Twitch. Again, that is Fireddinosaur4. Go check him out. Go show him some love. Go give him a follow. I thank you once again, my man, for joining us. And I hope that no matter where you guys are at or what you guys are playing, we here at the Dubcast can get you one step closer to clutching that dub. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
See you guys later. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me, guys.